Hi, I'm Sydney. I found out that I had LCH when I was 10 years old. Langerhans cell histiocytosis, or LCH for short, affects 1 in 200,000 children per year, primarily under the age of 10. And it's a rare blood disease that is kind of similar to cancer.
I mean, I had never heard those words in my life. Histiocytosis was not a disease that I've ever heard of anybody having. And I remember him telling me, the ENT surgeon, do not go Google this.
It's similar to cancer because it's treated with the same things like chemotherapy and steroids.
It is the night before I start my treatments for LCH, and I have to get a port put in me tomorrow. And tonight I'm feeling a little scared, and I'm just scared about all the what ifs and what can happen, and just a lot of stuff I'm worried about tonight.
Sydney was one of the lucky girls who had the LCH in her cheekbone and in the orbit around her eye. And with simple chemotherapy for 6 months, she was cured of this disease, and she's had no recurrences.
I was so thankful that I responded to the treatment. I've met a lot of other kids along the way that have had a way harder time with the treatment than I did, like Haley Baden, who I met at a medical conference, and we bonded immediately. We were always making art projects in this kid's room that we were in for a whole weekend, and I was carrying her around. She was 3 years old when I met her, and then a few months later, she actually passed away from the disease. My mom told me, and I started crying because she'd been through so much.
I remember we were sitting in this room with Sydney, and we were thinking, what is there something that we can do, or that you can do, Sydney, to help raise money, or something that will lift your spirits? And she right then and there said, well, what about those necklaces that I had been making in Michiana?
When I was 8 years old, I started making and selling these rock necklaces that I found on the beaches of Lake Michigan. And then when I was diagnosed with LCH, and I wanted to find something that would help me take control of the situation that I was put in, so I decided to sell these rock necklaces that I had been making for so many years to raise money for LCH and LCH research.
Last year, an 11-year-old girl from Wilmette was diagnosed with a very rare blood disease. Today, that disease is in remission, but her fight for others carries on.
I just want to make treatment easier for kids who are diagnosed in the future or being treated now.
Well, Syd and her foundation are generous supporters of our research by giving us money to help the lab go forward. And 2/3 of the money that we use each year comes from philanthropy, so we're very grateful to Syd and her foundation.
All of a sudden, there were so many people who were interested in buying them and wearing them.
And that really showed me that I could take this far beyond what it was already.